Yes, 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 yes. Big up one, big up all. Hope you're good on a Thursday. Father Chalky, Simple Things Audio, saying hello, hello, hello. Right, got something to let you know about. So I'm gonna wait for a couple of people, wait 2 minutes for a couple of people to come in. Big up all the bass heads across the land. Got a unit for you coming, and I'll explain things as we going along. I want to say a big thanks to all those who have come out to the Simple Things Audio events recently, put the needle on the record, a few other events. We got other events coming up, but today, you know, this part is not about the events. Big up Renee, cousin Renee, where you're there. This is a Soundman video today, is what we're going to be discussing. Well, not even discussing really. I'm going to be introducing you to a piece built by the magic man himself, Mr. Ren Phillips, cousin Ren, APS Sound. So I'm going to be letting you know a bit more about this unit, which will be hopefully we'll be building a few pieces of very soon, and we'll be ready in the next couple of months. So just hold tight and I'll give you explanations. I want to big up all the big sounds out there, all those who have got enough boxes and 21 and 24 inch driver now. Yeah, this unit is something that you will most definitely be interested in. So let's wait one more minute. Again, good afternoon one, good afternoon all. We'll wait one more minute, see if anybody comes through, a couple of other people. You can watch this back later because I haven't got time today to set up and show you a rumble and show you how it actually sounds today. So what I'm gonna do after I finish this video is in the comment box below, I will post a little video of how this unit sounds on some 21 inch drivers and 18 inch drivers. Yeah, what we've been testing it out over the last few weeks on some bigger sounds at bigger dances, just to get, find out. And very, very seriously pleased. Okay, right. Let me get into the technicals. Let's chat about the unit itself, right? This is the APS Bass Equalizer. That's what it is. It's the APS Bass Equalizer, as called by cousin Ren, but I call it the APS Bass EQ preamp because it is really and truthfully more than an equalizer. So I call it a bass EQ preamp. So that to me is what it is, right? So let's start up here. It's a 19 inch unit, very solidly built indeed, and slip it in the rack, screw it in, and let me show you the bits and pieces. Yeah, big up Mello, nice to see you. Right, over here, once you slip it in, first thing you're going to come to, this is built with a phase switch on it, like a lot of the units do have here and there, the good units, so that when you're doing your sub and your upper bass, you can flick the phase on the speaker. So that's a good piece to have there. Underneath here, we have a little green LED. This is your input signal light. So it flashes from a little bit of green and gets more and more solid. Now, this unit here is built with a whole heap of headroom on it. So really, to peak this unit, you would have to be pushing some seriously hard, redlined, hot signal to push this unit, because cousin Ren has built this with Soundman in mind. So therefore, it's built to take the preamp signals, the hot signals, the heavy signals. So therefore it's built with that in mind. So it has a whole heap of headroom on the input structure. You have a whole heap of headroom. So pushing signal, whether it be from an old school preamp, whether it be from a new school mixer, whatever, into this will take it no matter. I battered it with signal, and I haven't been able to peak it. So big up cousin Ren, because that's absolutely solid. Right, let's carry on. First knob you come to is your input volume. Standards, you know, whatever you're putting into this, whether it be a full range signal, whether it be a bass end signal, this will control the input volume. Now, as we go along, this is where this starts to differ from a graphic equalizer or a parametric equalizer. Now, these knobs here, all the knobs here, I'll come along to the right in a second, but all the knobs here do not operate like a graphic equalizer where you have minus 12 dB and plus 12 dB. Now, on the majority of graphics that I know of, if you go into minus 12 on all frequencies, you could put all the frequencies down on minus 12 and put a signal, you will still get that leak. You will still get that leak because that's a standard graphic equalizer. Whereas with this, these are 0 to 10 level pots, basically. So once you have this down to 0, nothing is coming through. So it works on the same principle as the APS rotary EQ. Turn it down, it's gone. Completely finished. Right. These are all the numbers for the different frequencies. I'll come back to that in a second. For each knob, you have 5 bands in the sub frequency from 25 Hertz to 60 Hertz. And then you have 3 bands in the upper frequency, and it's been widened due to myself and a couple of sound man chatting. It's been widened, so it's from 70 Hertz to 125 Hertz for the upper bass, to give it that little extra oomph in the depth of the kick section. So it was widened from 80 to 70. So that section actually sounds very nice, I have to say. So now we come along. I'm going to show you this part of it first. You have your separate output controls, which on the rotary EQ you did not, you know. Here you have your upper bass output control for volume, and there, next to that you have your sub bass output control for volume. Now this next knob here, very interesting that cousin Ren should put this here, because this is something for the sound men out there to how you play your bass, whether you want to play it raw, whether you want to play it sweet. This is a very interesting knob because this is a balance knob. Now, once it's in central, your sub bass and your upper bass, you know, come out virtually level, depending on how you're pushing them on the volume. What this does is, if you bus it to the left, you will lose a bit of slight upper bass, but you will then start gain more strength, which to me isn't necessary, but you will start gain a bit more strength and rawity. Now this is what I found when I tested this out. Rawity. So your upper bass is starting to flick down, but the rawness from your sub bass is starting to punch through. Very interesting concept for cousin Ren to put there, I must say. Very interesting, but it's a good thing to have. I've tested it out, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Yes. So over here, we have the kill switches. So you have your, on the outside, if I'm not mistaken, the upper bass kill switches. So completely, once you've killed it, you will not hear that. That's completely gone. And your sub bass kill switches. So this unit is good for, you know, sounds that like to run the sound, you know, 3-way, 4-way, 5-way. You could really, in the bass end, be very versatile with this unit. Very versatile indeed. Now, what we have here, and I've got to say, big up Cousin Ren again, because what he's done here is he's put a little VU meter. Now, people say, oh yeah, VU meter. He's built this so this will go all the way up when the switch here is flicked upwards as a standard VU meter. And, you know, he's got plenty headroom in it, so this will go to plus 12. Now, the interesting thing is, when you flick the switch down, this VU meter now changes into a headroom meter, a headroom and peak meter. So therefore, what you're looking at is your signals complete, showing you how much actual headroom you have to push in, push out in this unit, which again is something, you know, I don't see them kind of things. I have the, you know, it's a very, if you're a serious sound man and thing, that kind of thing to have on your unit is very, very good for true. It saves you having to mess around, and it's a very good thing to have there, and it's just a flick switch to use. So yeah, very, 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 very good. Now, let's turn it round. We don't want to bust nothing. And let me show you the back. Okay. Now, in the back, as you can see, solid, Ren doesn't deal with the 3-pin. So it's a solid power con input. Here's your fuse holder right here. So you know where everything is done, and it's done properly. Yeah. And now we'll move this over. Now, let me show you the inputs here. Right, you have your left and your right inputs, so that if you want to put in a stereo signal, not a problem. If you want to put in just a mono signal, not a problem. Yeah, so therefore you're not going to get any grief, you know, with the input here. And as I said, this has a whole heap of headroom on the input, so you can push signal hard. Now, what we have here is your sub output and your upper bass output. Now, and you also have, before I talk about them again, you also have a mixed output. So therefore, if you want to play both your upper bass and your sub bass in one cab and control them together, not a problem. You can do that without having to get Y cable or you know, put it in auxiliary on the next mix or whatever. You just plug in the mixed output. Now, the upper bass and the sub outputs on here, when you plug them and use them separately, they have, I think it's a +3 or 4, or maybe even a +6, I'm not sure, I'll have to get the exact detail, extra output than the main output. So therefore, this is giving you even more, so you've got better quality control over the unit, and you don't need to push as heavy a signal because you're getting that on the output. So you can keep the signal on the front of the unit clean, and then, you know, you don't have to turn around and say, boy, let me turn it up, I want more, because it is actually there. Right. Before anybody starts asking me, you know, what's the price? I want one, blah, blah. We are, as I said, this is the prototype. So you know, it's been around. I'm going to let people know it's been around and tested out on different sound, on a couple of big sounds, as well as me doing my testing, and as well as Ren sitting in studio and billing and testing, right? This has been up and down at a few big dances so that we can get a, you know, a good degree and good feedback. So I can honestly say that after doing some testing myself, and after hearing this unit on bigger drivers, 21s, 18s, 20, I think some 24s, I'm not sure, but you know, my 12s, I can honestly say this has to be, and I'm not being biased because we're in his family, yeah, this has to be one of the best, if not the best sounding bass unit I have ever heard. This completely changed up the sound of my boxes. And the smoothness, this is the biggest point of this unit. The smoothness, you get reproduction on the bass, and the sub signal from this unit is seriously untrue. You can roar it up by using the balance. So if you want to and add a bit of something else, you can do that using the EQ as well, with your upper, with your sub. You use this to get the tone that you are after, and then up to your amplifier and your speaker to reproduce that tone, because trust me, this unit will give you what you want at the bottom end without fail, yeah? And I know nowadays there's a lot of sounds out there who are bass heavy, who are bass heads. You know what I mean? There's a lot of them sounds out there. So, but this unit, I have to say, is excellent piece, and big up Cousin Ren again. This done some magician work. And like I say, it's in the final stages, couple of bits to tweak, as Cousin Ren says, but I don't know why, because I've tested it, I've taken it, I've pushed it, and I don't know what he wants to do, but he's a magician, he likes to do things proper. So we're in the last bits of testing, the last fine-tuning things, and a couple of months' time, or maybe before, we'll wait and see, I'll be able to, you know, update you some more about prices and about availability, because the same as the APS graphic rotary EQ, this is not a model which you'll see in shop or anything, nothing like that. This is a model we're gonna build for people, but it will be restricted to a certain amount of numbers. We're not going to build it, just go and give it to anybody and everybody. That's not how this works. We want people who will be able to use it properly and, you know what they're doing with it, to take the unit and do what they're doing with it. I don't want to be selling it to any Tom, Dick and Harry who'll say, I'll just buy it because it looked good and so he can tell his brethren he have one. You know what I mean? If you don't know about these things, then don't waste your money and buy it, yeah? Make sure you know what you're doing with it. Anyway, that's me. That was the, you know, I would give you a tester thing, but seriously, today I'm busy. I've got a few things to do, just like the rest of the world, okay? So that's the APS Bass EQ, or as I call it, the APS Bass EQ preamp. Trust me, I'll come back to you over the next few weeks with more information. For now, from Father Chalky to you, from me, look after one another, take care. Later, as we say, will be greater.